Hey, it's Evie, welcome to my channel. Today's video is all about how your thoughts do not manifest your reality and why they don't manifest your reality. But I've had so much confusion, people that email me and tell me about their situation, they're trying to bring a specific person into their life and they're thinking this and they're thinking that and having all of the right thoughts, but they're not coming into their life. And that is because it's not our thoughts that manifest, it is our feelings. Our thoughts are only something that we should use in order to evoke the feeling to allow that thing to come into our lives. Thinking about it and doing all of the right techniques, that you learn on YouTube and wherever else you learn them, doesn't make a jot of difference if your feelings aren't aligned with your thoughts. So if you're trying to manifest a specific person into your life, and you're doing your imagination techniques, you're visualizing, you might do affirmations, whatever the things that you might do that work for you. If you're doing all of that, but your feelings are doing something different, so you're vibrating something different then. So if your feelings are you're missing them, and your overriding feeling inside is of missing them, so you're doing all of this, so really what you're doing is you're fighting. Your feelings are fighting with your thoughts, and your feelings will always win. Your thoughts will never win out, because if you imagine this, just imagine that you really did manifest your thoughts. The world would be in utter chaos. It really would. You cannot manifest your thoughts. That would be crazy. Manifesting your feelings makes much more sense. So the key is to get your feelings to match up with your thoughts, and that is where the rub comes. That's fairly difficult. I can do that easily now, but I've practiced for 4 years, so I don't want you to have to practice for 4 years, because I did all this myself. Really, I didn't really check that much stuff out. I read some books. I really like the author Richard Dotts. He's brilliant. If you're getting into the law of attraction, really, really good, really straight talking, and comes at it from a scientific point of view. And I love his books, but I've read all of them now. I don't really read anything anymore. I listened a lot to Neville Goddard because the imagination stuff works for me, because I use my imagination all of the time. But everything that we do in order to manifest is just something that evokes a feeling, because it's the feeling that manifests. It's nothing else. I can say imagination manifests, and as Neville said, use your imagination. Yes, it does, but it does because it evokes that feeling, and it's the feeling that manifests. It's really not anything else. This is why if you sit there daydreaming and not feeling what you're daydreaming, so not when you touch things, if you're not actually feeling that in your head, then that's not proper imagination in order to manifest, and that will not probably evoke any kind of feeling strong enough to manifest that particular thing into your life or that particular person. And before I go any further, I just wanted to say that I have launched my book now, Get Back With Your Ex, because I've had so many questions. When's it going to be launched? When's it going to be launched? And I set myself a deadline and I just went flat out, which is why I haven't uploaded a video for a while, and why I'm a little bit behind with getting back to you guys about my coaching, but I should be getting back to a few people next week. Because I just thought I've just got to get it out there, got to get on with this. And actually I self-edited this one as well, and when I first launched it I found that I had 4 mistakes in there. Goodness knows how that happened, because one of my clients who is a broadcaster, he's been teaching me how to self-edit, so I'm way better at that now, but so I had to go back and change that, and I've had all kinds of things happening, so it's been a little bit crazy, but I'll put a link to it down below for you. It's $1.99, it's 30 pages long, and I pretty much cover everything. And hopefully, if you read it and you like it, I'd love for you to give me a review on Amazon or Goodreads, preferably Amazon really. I get a lot of reviews on Goodreads, but to help me sell more books, it's more beneficial for me to have them on Amazon, so that would be amazing. It's completely subjective, and if you don't like it, you don't like it, but hopefully it will be useful to you. So how do you match up your thoughts with your feelings? Everything about this is practice. So you have this really strong desire for this person, this specific person in your life. You want this person, you want them, and you've got that overriding feeling of wanting, but you think, okay, I'll visualize, I'll say affirmations, what other things can you do? I'll try and get the feeling and all of that stuff that you do. And you might manage to evoke that feeling for a couple of minutes, but then it's overridden by the negative emotion that you're feeling of missing them and not having them. The thing is, all of this stuff does happen in the moment, so you could manifest just like that. If you had got the feeling of being with them and then you'd let go, then in that moment you could manifest. But then if you go back to the negative emotion, then that is what you're vibrating. So that's what you're going to manifest. You are manifesting, but you're manifesting missing them, more of that. So you're manifesting the undesirable stuff. So you need to get it to match up. So it's practice. Get that thought, the thought that you want them, and imagine being with them. Get that feeling and hold on to that feeling for a while. Let it go, that's not a problem, let it go, but keep practicing that. It's all about practicing, matching that feeling up and realising that whatever you focus on, you do get. So you may not think that you're focusing on not having them because you're putting your mental focus deliberately on having them. So you're imagining being with them and all of that stuff, but your feelings are what manifest. So actually you up here, you're focusing on being with them, but in here, you're actually focused on not having them, but you don't quite realise that at the moment because you're just getting into this and getting good at this. So you will get good at it. Believe me, you will get good at it. I mean, I do this with everything now. And, if I ever feel something, when I want something, I'll sort of sit down and think, how am I feeling about this? And if I can feel anything slightly off, then I will try and bring it in line with my thoughts, because I know that if I spend too much focus on the negative and what I don't want, that's what I'm going to get. Even though up here, I'm focusing on what I do want, I need to be focusing on that inside. And that's quite a weird concept, isn't it? To get your head around. But it really is only your feelings that will manifest. So you can think, so let's say people come to me and they say that they've been having worry thoughts, that they're going to bring this certain thing into their life because they're going to worry about it, and they're thinking about it, but they're thinking about the worry of bringing it into their life. They're thinking they're going to worry it into their life. So they're thinking about that, not actually thinking about the thing itself. So they're just causing themselves more worry. So because it's whatever you're feeling creates your vibration. So I'm trying to make this as succinct as possible. So it doesn't matter what you're thinking. You can try all of these techniques and think, I'm doing it all, why isn't it happening? Why isn't it happening? Because you're questioning it. So the why isn't it happening is a vibration, is a feeling, and that is so overwhelming that it's outweighing everything else that you're doing. So this is why I always say you need to do this for fun and lighthearted. And you need to almost say, okay, I'm giving it my best shot, but if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. It won't be the best thing for me if it doesn't happen. And I'm tell you this, that if it doesn't happen, it's because inside of you not ready for it to happen. Because if you were ready for it to happen, then you would be able to let go. So if you can't let go, then you aren't quite ready. And if you look at it that way, and you don't want this person in your life when you're not ready, because it will just go wrong, won't work out, you'll be full of fear and doubt. You need to clear all of that. So you need to have these lovely thoughts about them, get the feeling, but then don't go on too long with it, because if you go on too long with your imagination, that's when the fear starts to creep in. So you just want to keep it pretty short, really, and then let it go, and then go about your business. And yes, they might still be in the back of your mind, but don't worry about that, and don't stress about, I can't have them in my head, because if they're in my head, then I'm not letting go. Just don't worry about that, because that's just another form of resistance. They're there, they are there, it doesn't matter. And you can actually manifest when you're still thinking about somebody. If you're thinking about somebody a lot, you can still manifest them, because it's not the thinking about them that stops you from manifesting. It's not that you have to let go and stop thinking about them. You just have to let go of that attachment. You have to get the feeling of release inside of you, so you know when you are not attached. And quite a good way to do this, say you're thinking about them and you're feeling a little bit attached, you can feel it there, you know that you're a bit, we all know, don't we? Then use the word detachment or detached as your switch word, specifically for that person. So you could use it for anything, but if you want to keep it specifically for that person, so you're having overwhelming thoughts of, oh, I'm missing them, so you're having a few minutes where you're doing it well and you're getting the feeling, and then it's all being overridden by the negative stuff, then say to yourself, detachment, detached. And as you say that, really say it with meaning and feeling, and you will feel that, and it will last maybe for a few seconds, and you will get the vibration of detachment. And if you keep practicing that feeling of detachment will last longer and longer and longer. But as with everything that I say here, it is all about the practice. So don't do it a few times and think, oh, it's not working, that's rubbish, or you have to keep at it. And I've always been a person that keeps at stuff. I've never given up really on anything that I've wanted. And before, I've probably not done it in the right way. And I have eventually got a sort of a version of what I've wanted before I've been into this, because I have persevered, but it's been such a hard road to get there, and it's always been not quite, you know, but now it's perfect, it's just as, and it's not such hard work because I don't make it hard work. I don't allow it to be hard work, because I know that that's not the best route, and it's painful getting there when you do it like that, when you're forcing it and saying, I've got to take this action because I want this outcome. And I was talking to the guy that I share an office with, David. I've mentioned him several times. Poor David, he gets mentioned, he has no idea. When he was talking about branching out into photography, because he does photography, he's an amazing photographer, but he is a video producer, some amazing video projects, really high-end stuff. He's really talented, and he loves his photography, and he was doing it for fun. And then when we talked about multi-revenue streams, he decided that he was going to try and get some more photographic work and sell his stuff, sell prints of his stuff, because they are incredible. I might put a link below actually down to his stuff just so you can have a look. He's really talented. And anyway, then he said to me, so he started doing it and doing it lightheartedly, and he started selling quite a lot of his prints. And then he started making some books for different companies, and he's done so much stuff, but he's been doing it sort of on the side, just seeing what happens. And he said to me a little while ago, I mean, he doesn't know what I'm into, I don't think, but he did say to me, should I focus on like the outcome that I want to get to? Should I sort of go for that outcome, or should I just do it and see what happens? I said, don't focus on the outcome. Don't focus on the outcome, because when you feel that, if you feel that you're not getting to that outcome quick enough, then you build up resistance, and then it all goes horribly wrong. So you don't want to do that. You just want to take the action and just see what happens. I love just seeing what happens now. I mean, I have stuff going on in my life that hasn't got to where maybe I want it to be, but I just like seeing what happens with it. And I think if it doesn't work out, something better will come along, because it always does. It literally always does when I think that. So that's the way I look at it. And I think, great if it does. If it doesn't, I'll be fine. So to sum up, as I always say, practice makes perfect, and it really does. It's really worth putting the time in, and don't get stressed out about the time and think, oh, and don't, you see, if you tell yourself, oh, I'm okay with the waiting, I don't mind, but then you're still doing all this stuff in the background trying to get them, then you do mind really, and you're not trusting reality. You're basically saying that you know best. You're not putting your trust in something else. I say something else, really you're putting your trust. You've decided that you want this person in your life. Now you have to let reality move in whichever way it's going to move in order to bring that thing to you. And what I always say is, when I'm wanting to manifest something, this is what I want, and I try and be as specific as possible without giving reality a way to get there, letting it do it whichever way, but I say in the best possible way without anybody getting hurt, because I don't want to get what I want at the expense of somebody else. I just don't. That's just not me. I don't want that. So in order to match your feelings with your thoughts, do your stuff, you know, do your practice, do your imagination, all of that stuff. Get the feeling, let it go. If you're still sitting with that negative feeling, you can't get rid of it. Just keep practicing getting the good feeling, let it go. Get the good feeling, let it go. But don't fight with the bad stuff if it's there, because you can't really. All you can do is practice, is just sort of evoke the positive as much as you can until it becomes a habit, until it becomes much easier to evoke that positive feeling. And then naturally you find one day, ooh, I haven't thought about them for a few hours, or, you know, they haven't been there in the back of my mind at all. And you're really pleased with yourself that that's happened, because you know that you're getting somewhere then. So it's all about practice, getting a bit of progress, being grateful for that progress, and then carrying on doing the same. But your thoughts won't manifest. Your desires won't manifest. You know, we don't manifest anything without our feelings matching up to what we want. And that sometimes can take practice when we're attached to something. But like I say, if you use that word, detached, when you're getting really uptight about this person, or you're trying to convince yourself that you've let go when you haven't really, and you know you haven't. So there's no point lying to yourself, no point whatsoever. So just use that word, detached. Get the feeling of detachment for even a few seconds, and then don't worry if it disappears, floats away, and you're feeling a bit attached again. Just carry on with your day and don't get stressed out. The way you get frustrated is when you don't quite understand that your thoughts don't manifest, because you start then thinking, well, everybody else can do this and why can't I do it, because I'm using all of these techniques, it must be rubbish, it must be nonsense, it's not happening. You know really that it's not nonsense and it's not rubbish, because you know when you've manifested things in your life that you felt, you know that your feelings aren't quite there yet, and that's what you need to practice at, getting your feelings to match up with your thoughts. And it's not an easy thing, really. It isn't, because we're human beings and our feelings are very spontaneous. Our thoughts we can monitor and be careful with, but we can't really do that with our feelings without practice. It's like anything, you're learning a new skill. That's the way I looked at it. I was learning a new skill, just as I'm learning Italian at the moment. What else am I doing? I'm learning all sorts of things at the moment, teaching myself lots of stuff at the moment. Yeah, just as I'm doing that, I have learned a new skill. And actually that's proven to be, learning another language has proven to be a lot more difficult than I thought. I just really, my concentration, and then I'm forgetting things. I'm learning it. I think, oh yes, I can say that now. And then I go back and think, oh, what was that? You know, and so I'm going to persevere. And this time next year, I will be speaking fluent Italian. I haven't told anybody that I'm doing it because I just want to suddenly be able to talk and just surprise everybody. So that's quite fun. But the same with this, you know, it is practice. And if at first you don't succeed, try again and all of that. And I really, you know, that's the way that I live my life, really. I do realise that this video has been a little bit waffly. Sometimes I'm really succinct and to the point, and I'm brilliant. It's like when I run my workshops, I am sometimes... you know, I've got people in front of me and I feel they go amazingly and I'm on point and it just flows, and then sometimes I'm a bit and that's a bit, I feel like I've been a bit like this with this video, so I do apologise for that. If you are a little bit confused about what I'm saying or you want some more help, then please do email me. Go to the coaching section on my website, select general inquiry. Now I've got this book out of the way, I'm really getting on track with my coaching, so there's a few of you that are on the waiting list at the moment. I will be getting back to you. I don't really like to take any more than 3 people at a time, really, just so that I can give you all the best service. So again, any questions, please do email me, and email me with a topic that you're stuck on. That's absolutely fine. My coaching is really a bit more broad. I don't really like to coach people on getting a specific person back separately. I will talk to you via email and help you as much as I can, but a whole coaching session on that is a bit, because I think then you can get very hung up on doing it right, and I think it can quite have a little bit of a negative effect if you have coaching to get your specific person. I think it's far better to have coaching for everything with this stuff, so that you just get good at this stuff, and that just becomes then another element of the law of attraction, another element of creating your own reality, and something that you can deal with by yourself, because you've learned how to deal with the whole thing, and you've learned how this works and how to make it work for you. Because I don't want to make things more difficult for you and make things so that you've learnt all these techniques and then you're getting uptight because they're not working quickly and that sort of thing. So I don't think it's useful having coaching for one specific thing that you're really hung up on. I think it's useful to have it as a whole. A lot of my emails and queries are based around this, and I've found that I've been really useful to people, and the advice I've given them has really, really helped. And some of you have manifested your specific person through just talking to me about it and just learning what you've been doing wrong, really. So, you know, hence I am making quite a few of these videos now, and actually I'm quite enjoying them, because I know what it's like when you're hung up on somebody, and if I can help somebody become unattached and then get that person, or decide that actually they don't want that person after all. You know, that has happened as well with a couple of my coaching clients, that they've decided that actually the person that they initially wanted, they realised that they just got hung up on the wanting. So, you know, I can help in various different ways. Anyway, thank you once again. This is Evie signing off. Sorry I've waffled on and on and on. I'm going to have so much editing to do in this video, I really am. I hope to see you again soon. As I said before, I put a link to the book down below, link to my website, link to my coaching page as well, that might be helpful. And I hope to see you again soon.